Welcome to SlyVinyl Radio. I'm your host, Eric Hughes, and joining me today is SlyVinyl's own David Hampton, as well as the Wax Mage himself, Heath Lawrence. This episode we'll be doing something a little different. We wanted to talk about some recent events and the hot button topic that is record flippers. And we don't mean when you play side B either.
I'm really happy when cool people are successful. I didn't even know what Wax Mage was, but there was a label. They're deceased now, but Echo Drug Recordings back in 2015.
Oh, dude, I fucking love Echo Drugs. I did some fucking crazy shit for those guys.
You did. It was the first label blowout record that I ever saw, and I've got that in my collection.
Yeah.
And that was, again, not knowing who you were, but so many people right off the bat were like, oh my gosh, who is it? What is this Echo Drug Recordings? They have these amazing bands, and then they have these limited to 25, 50 copied records.
Yes.
And it created a hysteria almost immediately. So I'm so happy that the hysteria in a good way is still there, and people are still digging it.
Rad.
Yeah.
Yeah. With this flipper stuff, I've been watching this happen, and I said to my girlfriend, I'm like, you guys as labels and me as doing this shit, we're kind of printing money right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As far as that flipper mentality goes. I'm letting records go for $25 or $35 a record, and then on the turnaround, they're going for hundreds, sometimes even thousands of dollars, and it fucking blows my mind.
Yeah. Do you recall when Third Man Records posted some of their records on eBay for the actual secondary value?
I don't recall that, no.
Me either.
Yeah, they were sick. Basically, there's a guy that went by the name of Larry Clarksville or something, and Third Man Records in Nashville was set up across the street from a recovery clinic for people on meth and stuff. So there's a lot of junkies hanging out and trying to get better, and there's homeless people. And this Larry guy would drive into town for a big Third Man release. He would release those tricolor 7 inches, and
right.
he would pay each homeless person or junkie $20 to stand in line, and he would probably get 15 to 20 of those things, and probably make more than the label did easily. So Third Man, as a way to combat that, they just decided to release one of the releases on eBay for $200 a pop. It's if you want it, here it is. And people got up in arms about it. But I really loved the point they were making, which was, man, you guys created this monster. Now y'all deal with it.
Yeah, you have to manage the monster.
Absolutely.
I feel like I'm in an awkward position where Wax Mage is just manufacturing first in particular SlyVinyl for Eric. I'm manufacturing these records for you. Mm-hmm. But there are bots, there are the scalpers, there are whatever's happening, people trying to get in there and get the stuff before the fans do. And that was honestly when Wax Mage started releasing things and officially, I think it was 2015.
Yeah.
We were just selling our 7 inches for maybe $20, and our 12 inches releases for $25. And the records, we worked with other labels that we liked, or bands that we liked. We were I want to buy this run from you. I want to buy your jackets from you, your labels from you, and then any profits that we make off of it, I want to pay for the manufacturing part, and then any of the profits from that goes back to the band. And I know a lot of folks are doing that. And I just wanted to be supportive. And then I would see these things go on the aftermarket, on Discogs, on eBay, or whatever was happening for $100. And I was like, damn. I was like, what? That's really cool. What is actually happening? And then other people were Heath, you should start selling your stuff for more than that. And I'm like, no, because I want to make things accessible for folks like blue collar folks like me that I want to be able to pay like $25 for a record that looks fucking rad from a band that I think is fucking amazing. Like I want to support that model. I want to be a part of that. Like the aftermarket, like I don't have control over that. I'm flattered and it's like such an honor to like have folks like turn around and sell it for like maybe $100 or like whatever. It's wild that things are going the way that they're going. And Eric, I appreciate you for like breaking that model. Like what had just happened, where people got upset. They're like, everything went in 3 seconds. You know, like it has to be bots.
Yeah.
It has to be this, you know.
They were going, it went in 3 seconds when normally it goes in 5. Something is fishy. And maybe to refresh listeners on what happened and the event you're talking about. On Friday, September 10th, we had our Hazy Mountains Pull of the Moon record drop. We had amazing Wax Mage variants. We had some awesome chroma ones and some other more standard variants. But unlike previous releases where, the Wax Mage always go fast. It's always if you're not there right when it drops and you're ready to check out, you're probably not going to fare. You're probably not going to end up getting that Wax Mage in your cart and checked out in time before someone else does. But what happened that was quite different this time, we always review our orders because with these more deluxe variants, I have a household limit policy. That way I can kind of enforce not having too many people order it from the same home. That, really spread it out, give a lot of people a fair chance. But this time it was very clear that something was different. I was seeing multiple orders being placed to the same address or different addresses, but the same email. There's a lot of things that were kind of just red flags to me that was telling me something was going on different from other releases. They sold out almost instantaneously. So in kind of doing a deep dive into the actual order data, I was able to figure out 13 of the Wax Mages and 4 of the chroma variants were clearly in violation of the policy. Clearly someone trying to buy multiple copies. Clearly someone who was aware of what they were doing. It wasn't just a big oops, right? There's no oops about that. So we canceled those orders. The ones I could identify might there be others that only got 1 copy and were using some sort of method? It's possible, but I wasn't going to cancel any orders I wasn't certain broke the policy. So we did what we could. And in reaction to that, I didn't think it was fair just to put those 13 and 4 copies back online and who knows, rinse and repeat, maybe end up with the same situation. So we explored a couple options and we came up with the raffle model. And so we figured everyone who placed a legitimate order, who hadn't, if you have a order that hasn't been canceled, your order number was your raffle ticket number. If you ordered more than one release or more than one copy of something, it was still only 1 raffle ticket per person. So we filtered it all down, stuck it into a random number generator, and then drew it that way. And people got the option to upgrade their standard order to a Wax Mage or a chroma. And it seemed to please people. I think we actually got the Wax Mage into the hands of true fans, and that's what we want to see.
I feel I also want to see that too. Like the people that are like actually like listening to the music, that are like happy about like what the label is putting out. Folks that are actual like collectors of the different variants from the different labels. Your model, it reminds me a little bit of a model from Too Many Records.
Yeah, actually, I spoke with Matt at Too Many Records about his raffle model, and it is a direct inspiration for what we're doing here. I've never participated in one of his raffles, so I don't know if it's identical or similar, but I know that they are also handling, the issue of how do you fairly distribute these?
They were ahead of the curve on that. And I remember when he told me about that, Matt, I'm not sure how to do these Wax Mage things. He's like, they sell it so fast. We had actual like true fans. And he's like, I want them to be able to get in on that stuff. And he was like, I'm going to do this raffle type thing. And I never got like the complete lowdown from Matt and like how he was doing it. But I was like, that's kind of a really fucking cool idea. And then when you got botted, Eric, you were just like, okay, whoever bought a record is in the raffle. And if you want to switch it up or get both, like your order number is your raffle ticket. And
exactly.
This is how we do it. Like, I think that's a great idea. And then I was like commenting on Wax Vessel, and Nick, he just sells literally nobody knows what they're going to get. Like the whole fucking run, like the whole 310 or 315 piece run is like a mystery. Everybody's just like buying a mystery record. And I just think that's the coolest. And all of them are the same price. I think it's like 30 or 35 bucks, like out the door, like whatever it is. And like sometimes people like are instantly flipping them. And so I know that I wish Nick was on this call because Nick is just like trying to vet all of those things to make sure that people like the true fans, the people that want to have the record and hear the record and own the record, like get to keep the record. So it's weird. It's interesting, like how the industry is moving with this collector stuff. And I feel like I said, it's like awkward for me to like see like on Discogs and like, man, there's like a couple of other sites that people will like tag me and like, oh, that record that you made a month ago is going for $1,000. And I'm like, that is absolutely insane. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's any way to like to stop the scalping or to stop the bots, but to like keep it under wraps to make sure that like the majority of the folks that are able to like get the records are actual fans and listeners and that want to play or display the record in one way or another is like is like great. And whatever we can do is like label owners and manufacturers to like make sure that things are going to the right hands, I think is great.
Yeah. And I think, it's kind of cool that when, you're talking to us about this, you're the manufacturer. It's almost like you're two steps away even from that whole side of it. And, I would imagine most manufacturers at that level would go, whatever, I don't care. It's out the door. We've done our business and I'm on to the next one. So I think that speaks a little bit more to and I know, as we've spoken about before, you are not one to consider yourself an artist. I'm all blue collar is how you come from it, but you are creating pieces of art and they are finite in quantity. You can't make 1,000 Wax Mage copies for a run of something. So it's just a matter of fact that these things are in limited quantities.
And no two are the same looking. It's like it tackles all of those gold stars for collectors.
But from a label standpoint, like you said, there's some of us here trying to vet all of these orders. And yeah, that could be, it's stressful because you want to be fair. You want the fans to be getting stuff. You don't want someone just using you as a middleman to make some cash off of your release.
I said also, how flattering is that? Like Eric, the things that you're releasing, like these last couple of releases that you have are like amazing. Like the music is amazing. The records are amazing. The etchings are amazing. And for me, like that I get to add like my spin on it and the way that we work together. Like this is like all I'm in it for. Like
it's been a treat.
I'm an artist. Maybe I'm an artist, but also Eric, you're an artist too. In the way you're like, promoting and capturing like other artists, not only their music, but like also their art and interpretation with the etching on the record.
It's a lot of artists coming together.
It's literally like a vinyl renaissance is like what's happening right
for
now.
sure.
And here we are.
isn't that the ultimate conundrum though for like someone in your shoes doing Wax Mage or any smaller label when they start to see more people showing up for the drop dates? It's a weird thing because you're like, man, this is really rad that a bunch of people are interested now. But what's not so rad is that half of them have algorithms that make it impossible. So it's one of those things where like I'm super happy that that SlyVinyl is getting some major waves now. But God, that's more people, more problems. People are the worst.
A person can be great, but people are the worst.
This is where the podcast ends.
We'll edit that out.
It's like I have a love-hate thing with collectors because one of those collectors in the bunch is me. I love collecting records, and I've been collecting since I was in college, like 2001. And I think that might be where my initial frustration with this particular event is that it felt it's a lot simpler, even in like 2006, 2007. It was just, there was a different culture around vinyl. It wasn't quite as, when a bunch of people start getting enthusiastic about something, there's this fear of mine that's like, oh, the bubble's going to burst. It's going to be like a big Beanie Baby type of thing. And it starts to get kind of lame. So in mid 2000s, it felt like the culture was a lot nicer for sure and more loving because there were people that they weren't successful with getting a Wax Mage this past one, and they were leaving comments on our website going, "This is the last time I give you guys money." And I was just like, "Is this? Are you throwing stones at us? Like, how is this our problem?" You know?
Yeah, that also breaks my heart to hear that. And I would like to be able to like make more customs for folks, for labels, and we're working on that. As far as record manufacturing, Gotta Groove is backed up almost a year now on standard weight and right around 8 months for 180 gram and 7-inch records. And I feel like that has a lot to do with pandemic and folks not being able to play out. So y'all just stayed at home and wrote music, and now you want to put it out and as the world begins to open up again, maybe, hopefully soon, folks are like touring on these records that they want to put out. So they're like across the board, like in the entire vinyl manufacturing industry, like everyone is like backed out. Everyone is like the lead times are insane.
Oh yeah.
Getting getting records in your hands is like, as a label, as an artist, and you're having a record manufactured, like you really have to be on top of that and like really like plan ahead and have all your ducks in a row, like long before you ever would have thought you would need to. Like when I first started pressing records in 2012, it was like we had like 3-month lead time, like a 3-month like wait time for you to get your record out. You know what I mean? And now we're like at a year and I don't see an end to it right now. I don't see an end to that push. They're like folks like trying to like get their spot in line, just by putting an order in, placing a deposit, and everything is TBD. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna give you a deposit. I'm gonna want this many records. And y'all don't even know what band you're putting out. Then you're just like, I know that I want this spot.
Oh, I can tell you that I have already. You're making me think I need to even get my 2023 spots.
It's facts. It's insane.
Because I've got a one a month with Gotta Groove all through 2022. And you're absolutely right. I'm figuring out what some of these releases are right now, and they're quickly filling up. And, obviously we don't have to have everything turned in immediately, like a December 2022 release. I don't have to get that stuff turned in right away. But yeah, get your spot in line and pray that you've got something to fill it with.
Get your job number, put your deposit down, and like fucking figure it out later.
Yep.
He's got some very good job security right now. That's awesome. You got 2 years in advance. That's a good problem to have, man. Like, congrats on
But that's like not just Gotta Groove. That's like every record pressing plant in the world. That is every record pressing plant in the world. Every like like Pirates Press, like every like middleman in the world, like everyone that's trying to do vinyl right now, like that's just the way it's going.
I keep thinking that the vinyl resurgence bubble is going to burst, but it never does. I was saying this back in 2014, 2015, when Record Store Day was getting really, really big, and it was just getting insane, and it's just still keeps getting bigger. And it blows my mind that vinyl sales outsold digital. Like that's the first year last year. That's absolutely insane.
People want things that they can hold on to.
Yeah.
People want things that they can come home to and like physically touch. I think like the tactile part of the vinyl resurgence is a huge part of why people want to look at vinyl. Like even just today, I was sitting with my girlfriend and I was like playing. I pulled up on Spotify, connected to my stereo with Bluetooth. I was like, this is my favorite record. And I was playing she's like, oh my God, I love this. And I was like, let me talk to you about this record. It was actually Sleeping at Last. And the record is called Space. It's a double LP. I have 3 fucking copies of this double LP because I love it so much.
Yes.
And I keep like reissuing it. And it's like, it's like something that like speaks to me. Like, it's like all about the planets and astrology and astronomy. And like, I fucking love it. And, I feel like that's like uncomparable to like any other way to like touch and be a part of like music. I don't know that vinyl is ever really gonna go anywhere unless like for real like apocalypse shit happens. But if it did, I would put that record in my backpack.
There you go. The top 5 desert island records in the backpack. Yeah, you're absolutely right. More so than any time that I've been alive, young people, young as in like 16, 17-year-olds are buying records. And I wonder if they're just straight up rebelling against their parents who are all up in the iPhone and they've got nothing but MP3s. I mean, it seems plausible.
I don't know. So I'm an older man, and I have a 14-year-old, 16-year-old nephew, and a 21-year-old niece, and an 18-year-old nephew, and they all like vinyl. My niece is into Drab Majesty, and it's because I gave her a record, and she was like, I like Hello Kitty and Drab Majesty. She's like, that's what I like. And my brother, we both grew up with like turntables, and we're musicians. Again, it goes back to that tactile thing. You want something to hold on to, like something that is real. Like they don't even have pictures, which is why like Polaroid pictures are like a thing. You know what I mean? Like actually like taking a picture and like having a photograph in your hand, like having film developed, or I feel like that the patience and the mystery of like having, what's the record going to look like or sound like? What's the photograph going to look like or sound like when it comes out? They're like the kids are into it.
It also certainly doesn't hurt that so many records come with a digital download these days.
Yeah. In 2008, I believe, No Age came out with their big breakout record on Sub Pop. And I was the first time I bought a record and a little piece of paper slipped out of it. And I thought, wow, because before that, I was buying pretty much older records, like filling in the Ramones collection and trying to fill those out. Right. And then when I noticed that, I was like, man, that kicked up my new vinyl almost 100% more than I was buying older stuff. Because just to be able to have both formats was fantastic. Yes. On the go and at home. Yeah.
That just gave me an idea for a funny prank. Go sell a bunch of used records and put in fake digital downloads for something from like the 70s.
Look, this Doobie Brothers record has an MP3 download.
Hell yeah.
What a fool believes. Well, Well, we're talking about a lot of positive stuff, and that's great. It's such a huge, complex argument because you want excitement, and you want, and to be truthful, any label who is smart enough to understand this would understand it. Like seeing your records flipping on eBay for $200, you're immediately like, wow, more people are going to be interested now. It's because this record is flipping that's creating this excitement and this, whatever it is, FOMO for the next release. So it's odd because it's scummy. It's not cool, but
Yeah.
it's really, really beneficial for the labels, the life of the label.
So here's my thinking on it, and I've had a few people tell me they're like Heath, you should raise your prices as Wax Mage, and sell your records for more than $35 a record for the official like Wax Mage customs. And I don't feel like I wanted set the market in that respect. I want y'all to dictate the things. If other labels want to get a WMR record and they want to sell it for, $125 a pop, they're more than welcome to. Like, I don't think anything bad about that. That's like how they're doing it. That's how they're paying to get their fucking record made. Like, I am not mad at somebody, to be able to do that. Like, I want you to do that as a record label. I want you to be able to like pay for your run. I want you to come out on top. I want you to, to be able to do that.
It's beautiful.
For Wax Mage, I'm probably going to keep my prices. I'm going to keep my prices low. My next couple of releases are going to be like regular releases. Here's like this fancy variant, and there's only 25, and they're, going to be like, probably like 35 or $45 a pop. You know what I mean? And that's just the way it goes. Except for this one release I have coming up, because I'm having them like hand etched and hand lathe cut by Red Spade Records, Robin Raven at Red Spade Records. Yeah, like doing like a really like super limited like variant, and her art, her work is like dictating like the whole price bench on that. Which is literally fucking priceless, like what she's doing right now.
Wow.
But as far as like Wax Mage and like me pressing and releasing my own records, like I'm gonna keep it like within market stuff. I want to make things accessible for everyone. I want to make sure that bots don't buy, which is why we're having this conversation right now with you guys, because I want to make sure that if I need to change the way I release, instead of just like saying, hey, everything's here on, my Store Envy, like go for it, and like have everything get bought in 3 seconds by a fucking bot. Like, I don't want to do that. Like there are folks out there, that want to have the record, like people that I know like personally that want to buy the record. And so how do I actually do that? And I appreciate, Eric, what you're doing with the raffle. Like, true fans are like buying the record, then you're doing a drawing, and then they either have the opportunity to have like the variant that they purchased to begin with and purchase the Wax Mage release, or they can like trade up and just be like, I just want the Wax Mage release. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You get no requirement to purchase 2 records just to get the Wax Mage. That's already a premium product right there.
I mean, I really think you nailed it. It just seems like it was one of the first times I'd seen any topic around a Wax Mage on our social media that didn't have complaining. Like mostly people, even people that didn't get it, were like, you know what, solid move. Like, at least it went into the hands of fans. It felt like a positive community again. Yeah.
Exactly.
Definitely. And, this was kind of a partial raffle since it wasn't 100% of them. Like you said, I can't think of another way either that would sidestep the problem of the bots. I think by doing this, even if people are using bots, if all are available to directly purchase our standard variants, then, there's not really an advantage there. We basically have an open window of gosh, it's almost 48 hours. It's a little less than 2 days where we'll have an open window where every order placed within that window is eligible for the drawing. So who cares if a bot purchases it in the first microsecond of the release? It's just as eligible as someone else. And you might not be able to identify that a single person buying a single copy is going to go flip it, but at least you can prevent someone from swooping in and buying 6 copies and getting away with it.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes, sir.
So I don't think you're going to ever be able to completely get rid of the secondary market. I'm of the belief that you don't have to die with every record you've ever purchased, right? There is legitimate reason to buy and sell records on the secondhand store. That's why independent record shops exist, right? Yes. And we all love them. They're not flippers per se, but records do command a kind of market value. And I would never support a label actually going and selling their stuff for the secondary market. Sans the experiment. White. Yeah, that was more of a social experiment and like a statement.
Yeah,
I can appreciate that. They didn't stick to that model, did they? No.
No. Yeah, it was just.
But if it would be pretty scummy if, say, SlyVinyl held on to records and then sold them on the side for flipping prices. That if we were going to increase prices, we would just do it up front and do it there.
Yeah.
And avoid all the drama that would cause.
I felt like I saw a ton of record stores doing that with their really super limited, coveted record store day items. They were tossing those records up on eBay themselves. It's just it's so complex because nobody wants a record store to go out of business, especially during this crazy time where we're not sure if the customers should be allowed in, and do you want to wear a mask? Do you not want to? Are you going to get mad if I tell you to? And so I want those record stores to be able to make their money. It's just, God, there's got to be a better way than cheating your loyal customers out of a MSRP and bleeding them dry. It's just so hard. It's a tough one.
Would you say an independent record store, though, is uniquely different than an independent label behaving that way?
Oh, no. I think I would say they're in the same boat, I guess. I mean, maybe I'm wrong on that. What do you think?
Well, a record store is buying and selling from labels typically, right? Or directly from the artists.
Yeah.
Obviously it's not what we would prefer. As a consumer, you would want to walk into a record store and buy it at retail price. But I guess I could see it from the record store's angle. Hey, we're struggling to survive as it is, as most indie shops are. And so just walked in, bought something for $25 MSRP off our counter, and now they're selling it for $200 on eBay. Why don't we just list it on eBay as an open auction and see where it lands? I could see a record store doing that, but I think as a label, you have to set that price, and that's the price.
So, so like a couple of months ago, I sold a record on eBay for like a little over $200. It was like one for my personal collection, but it was a Wax Mage record that I made and released on my label, and it was like my copy because I had a fucking bill to pay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like so I don't know where do we draw that line? Because I absolutely fucking did.
Good question.
Capitalize on that like that one time because I had a fucking bill to pay, and I was just like.
Were you public about who you were? Were you public about why you were raising the money?
It's like Wax Mage Records official on eBay. Absolutely. Yeah.
I think being open about that is an acceptable area to be, because you weren't trying to create a secret account and listing it for that price.
No, I just had a fucking bill to pay.
Yeah.
I'm like selling a bass right now because I have another fucking bill to pay. Like I feel like we're all like struggling. Like
you better not sell that bass for more than MSRP.
You never.
You base
Yeah.
flipper.
I'm just like, here's the auction. Like I can't be mad at somebody who's trying to like fucking pay their bills because I'm trying to fucking pay my bills too. You know what I mean? But also like the flippers that are just like, maybe that's their fucking business. However, if somebody wants to fucking make money, they're gonna make the money. Like I want to stop the flippers, like the constant like people who are like flipping their records, but also like me, like what I said. I fucking turned one of my own records out of my own collection. And while I have a good job at a fucking great company that I love, like the world is a different place right now. And I feel like that needs to, like, we need to make that a consideration. But also in that consideration, there are people that enjoy the music. There are people that enjoy, you know, like having a unique record in their collection. Folks that are going to hang on to this stuff and like gift it to their kids, to their grandkids. You know what I mean? I want those folks to have an opportunity to have those records. But also I want people to be able to like have a market, and then they can have a business, and that they can make some money to maybe fucking feed their family. So I'm maybe like in a mixed spot about it. Don't make it easy, but make it accessible.
Yeah. Like, I don't know about you, Eric, but I think the conversation about flipping has been a conversation in my weekly routine. I feel like since I started getting turned on to Third Man Records, this is about 2009. And also when Mondo Records came out, Mondo started, there was immediately a customer base of collectors, vinyl people. And so there were, like I told you guys before, that guy Larry Clarksville or whatever was hiring homeless people to get in line. There was a not even a gray area. That to me is like, okay, that's really, really scummy. That's
physical botting.
Physical botting, for real. And then you're also, you know, there's only 150 of these available. You are preventing some little kid in the back of the line from getting it. But then, you know, as I started collecting more and more, the arguments got a bit more nuanced, and I started trying to have as much, like you, Heath, emotional like empathy for people who are doing it. And I think I just have a few gray areas. Like, I don't like it if someone is selling a record on Discogs when it's still available. It's not sold out. And that to me seems like, okay, that's really dishonest. Just send them the link. And then if once it sells out, do what you got to do. That to me. And also I started seeing over about 2014, 2015, little private Facebook groups of these odd raffle, like, you pay me $20 for one slot in a raffle that I'm doing.
Yeah, the wheel thing, whatever that wheel thing is.
Yeah, I started seeing that, and it was for records that you could still buy for like $45. But this person would clean up, they'd make like $500 on this raffle, and it perplexed me. I was like, man, I guess people just like to gamble, and I guess that's fine. But there's just every person that I talk to has a little gray area where something pisses them off. But yeah, as long as you're being honest, just like Eric said earlier, man, I don't care. People get outraged so easily these days.
Yeah, agreed.
Eric, what are your thoughts? In any gray areas for you?
Yeah, I don't feel like every person who ever bought a record has to keep it till the day they die. There are reasons. And hey, if you have a record and you see people are on the aftermarket or selling it and for triple, quadruple the price that you paid, and guess what? Maybe you're not even listening to it. Maybe you hop in on that and you list it up on eBay or Discogs. And if someone bites, then that's it. No one's forcing anyone to buy any of these things on the aftermarket. These scalpers only exist because people are willing to pay the money. Things are only going for these value because people are paying for them. You can list a record for $1,000 on eBay, but it doesn't really mean it's worth that much if no one's buying it. Right. So, and I think I see that happen a lot too. Some of these, you see a high price tag on an item, but then it sits and no one's buying it for $400. Then you see it drop down slowly until maybe there's an actual value that someone will take a bite at. But
I think that's called the Dutch auction.
Yes.
And if you're just kind of if you're someone who's, I buy and sell records and that's my living, and I'm doing it legitimately where I'm right there and I'm clicking like everyone else and adding it to my cart and checking out, maybe I've got a faster internet connection or whatever, but that's kind of all here and there. It's a legitimate purchase. But what kind of irks me is there are groups of people who, not just vinyl records, but all of these different kind of hobbyist communities, things that are collectible
shoes,
posters and shoes, poster prints and shoes, anything Mondo sells, right? All like that's another good example.
Oh yeah.
There are communities of people who get together and say, hey, here's an item that's going to be valuable. Let's all get together and buy it. And then they'll also privately set a floor for they'll go, all right, and nobody list it on eBay for less than $300. They collude to set a higher market value and try to basically force that to be the value of something. And on top of that, there's also, it appears to be certain software that allows you to actually get in and cart an item before it's even available publicly. There are ways that people are circumventing, be it Shopify or Bandcamp or any of the other digital marketplaces. None of them are perfectly secure. There's ways that people can poke around at the back end, and they basically, the moment 1 second it's available, it's already carted. They've already got everything filled out. And that's how they're able to get the jump on people. It's physically, humanly impossible to beat something like that. That's where I kind of draw the line. If you're using technological means to cheat the system, that disqualifies you in my mind as someone who deserves to play.
Unless you're Robin Hooding it, and you're buying it for $60 and then selling it on eBay for $30, then we're like, okay,
find me the person doing that.
Exactly.
Not happening.
There was one time I thought this is genius, but there's a print gallery called Bottleneck Gallery, and they're similar to Mondo in that they have like weekly poster sales. And one of them was going to be a super intense, like everyone wanted it. And they had a drop down menu though in the product page, where you had to physically get your mouse and select and scroll down to not a bot, and then you could add it. Otherwise, if you just added it to the cart straight up, it created an order, but it was $0 and it said no bots allowed. And you would get an email receipt and everything, but you didn't get it. Damn. You bought a prank, and you actually had to go down and get that drop-down menu. And that really, really helped. I feel like that really helped people have a fair
That's like some stuff. That's like some fucking cyber, like that's how you do it.
Yeah.
That's
I see how that could have merits, but that would totally piss me off if I was a legitimate buyer who had no idea that's what we had to do.
Yes. And I was so mad. And then I saw the email and it said no bots allowed. And I just had to laugh because I was like, that is so brilliant. I didn't get the poster, but I was like, that is awesome.
But unfortunately, here's why that won't work. They sent out an email. People knew that the option was going to be look for no bots. So the people with the bots program purchase the item that says no bots. That's what happens. I would be shocked if they actually sold any fewer to bots than any other release.
I wonder if is that possible? You think that
100%?
Oh,
I'm too old for this shit.
I'm 40, man. I feel like I'm a dinosaur in this market.
You could.
I need like some fucking 25-year-old kid to like come and like fucking set my website up.
You'll never miss a drop again, buddy.
Yeah, there's software that can completely emulate mouse clicks, drop-down menus, everything. Talk to anyone who's ever worked in software quality assurance.
Okay.
You write scripts, and like people can make their own bots. I would see no reason someone couldn't do it from scratch, but there's whole companies out there where, and I'm not endorsing this, but you can go and find and purchase the software and set it all up. And if it's tennis shoes that you're after, or like we said, any of these other hobbyist markets where people are identifying, here's the hot item, and here's what's going to be flipped.
We are hobbyist markets.
Yeah.
Like I said at right off the rip, like we're literally like printing money for scalpers and like resellers and flippers.
And it seems like a solution to this probably isn't a high priority on anything. Like the Yeezys or Nikes aren't going to go and try and solve the problem because they're selling out in seconds. So it's like they're winning.
Right.
So I don't know. Might not ever be a real solution to this. I don't know.
I don't suspect that the Nikes of the world are going after and canceling orders for suspected scalpers.
Yeah.
And also like I think it goes back to like the grassroots, like part of it is like, as you know, like we as like record labels and like small business owners, like we want the music that we're putting out to go to the people who are actually fans. And we want them to have like the, you know, the limited variants. Like we want folks that are like actually going to put that record on their turntable and spin it and show it to their friends and show it to their family. Like
absolutely.
I want those people to have the records that I'm making, because the art that we make, the art that we're putting out there, the things that we do for SlyVinyl, the things that we do for Mondo, like the things that we're doing for you, like all the records labels that are ordering stuff, you know, through Gotta Groove and getting Wax Mage customs. I want people that are actually going to drop a needle on that record and listen to it. I want those folks to have that. Like, I want that to be like an actual thing. And the flippers are like, that's going to happen. That's the nature of the beast. That's the beauty of what we do is like artists and record labels and collectors. But, you know, like the end all is like, does Joe down the street have one of those Wax Mage customs? I would love for him to have that because he makes really good barbecue. You know what I mean? I just want like regular fucking Joe to have like one of the Wax Mage variants.
I think that's kind of where labels like SlyVinyl or Too Many Records or Wax Vessel or these other labels that Soul Step Records, that's another good example. Yeah. Labels that still care about their fan base or companies that still care about their customers. Like we said, Nike's not going after flippers because, well, guess what? Like David mentioned earlier, the hot secondary market kind of, in a way, does help the company because it kind of creates that hype.
They're just going to make more shoes.
Yeah, they're just going to make more shoes. But the hype is there. The fear of missing out. People, you know, a big company like Nike's, they're not going to crack down on that because they don't care. They're big enough. They really do not care who that end shoe ends up with. A smaller label like SlyVinyl, where we absolutely care that the people who love the music get the music, and the awesome Wax Mage copies are accessible to them. You know, that's why we're not pricing them crazy. You know, there's only 25 copies too. If we were to set the price, if we doubled the price of Wax Mage, it would put it out of the reach for everyday people. People with bots would still buy them to flip them. We would set an even crazy higher price. And in the end, the amount of money that you would make from doubling the price of 25 copies is really not that much. Is that amount of money worth putting it out of the reach of your real customers? I don't think so.
Facts. Thank you for saying that, Eric. Thank you.
Yeah. I really love I think there was a Reddit group, and then there's probably Facebook groups too, but Wax Mage there's a little ecosystem of people who are trading each other for different colors and different bands that they like. And it reminds me of the purest collecting I'd ever did in the early 90s, collecting baseball cards and trading them with my neighbors. And that was more fun than the actual card, was just doing that stuff with your friends. So I love Wax Mage for that, for putting that pure collector culture back into vinyl. It makes me happy. So
it's happening.
Isn't that really what it's about? Like, okay, if you're really, really upset that you didn't get a record, and you're so upset that you have to leave a scummy comment on Instagram belittling the label that's producing it or the person that's making it, and if you're doing that, you might need to take a little break from collecting, because it's really all about having fun. It's supposed to be fun, and it's supposed to make you happy. If it isn't, I don't know, man, take a step back, take a break.
Yeah. No, I want this to be fun, and without saying like what's going to happen, there's going to, like, Wax Vessel, Nick, and I have we have a little idea in mind of we want to do a traveling record that touches a lot of people, whether they like the music or not. I want one Wax Mage variant to go around the world. Is what I want to happen. I just had this idea. I was like, Nick, I want one of the records that we make for one of your releases to I'm gonna make this one-off record. I'm gonna give it a plain white jacket. I'm gonna sign it. I'm gonna send it to you. You're gonna sign it, and you're gonna send it to one of your guys, and they're gonna sign it, and then they're gonna send it to one of their fucking people, and they're gonna sign it. And I want it to literally go around the world. And maybe we can auction that record off, this one-off Wax Mage custom, and maybe do some good in the world with that.
I love it. You should make some kind of blue-green Wax Mage style design, like the Earth. The globe.
Yes, done. Yes. We just want to send a record around the world and maybe raise some money for something. I don't know. I just always wanted to do good in the world. I want to pay it forward, and I just want to help people.
You should make it a blank gatefold at least, so there's more room.
There you go.
I love that idea, Eric. That's a great idea. Definitely.
This kind of, you don't know what you might be starting here. This reminds me of the world's most expensive stamp sold recently. And
let's fucking do this.
here's what's I thought was cool about it. In addition to it being the world's rarest, most expensive stamp, every owner who's ever owned it has signed it somewhere.
Yes.
And it's a really tiny stamp, but every owner who's it passed through their collections, on the way out, they'll put a little signature on it.
Wow. That's where we're at.
Uniting
that's
people,
what's gonna happen. It's not about me and the stuff that I can put out there, but I'm how can I complement what you've already done? And in that, I need to communicate.
Yeah, and as one of your customers, let me tell you, it's a great resource to be able to actually have a conversation with you and say, hey, look at this one that you've done before. Can you do that one, but in these colors? Or can you combine these two techniques? And just kind of coming at you with these ideas.
Eric, you're out of your mind. We can't combine those things.
Yeah, Eric and I will just go through the Instagram account and look through other people's stuff and be like, oh my gosh, this design would be amazing for the next record we do of this. And it's so much fun. It's so much fun.
Yeah. I love working with you guys. Let's keep doing the things.
Yeah.
We will.
Yeah.
If you keep pressing, we'll keep buying.
Done deal. I'm not going anywhere for at least another 10 years. So
perfect.
That's job security.
Sure.
I don't know if we really solved the flipper crisis, guys, but at least we got to vent and talk about it and share our feelings.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I think moving to this raffle method is going to at least thwart people with bots. So I think we will have evened the playing field. You're just as likely to get a Wax Mage as someone who's trying to cheat the system now. So I think more true fans are going to get the records they deserve to get. the records are going to actually be played by people who love the music and are not just trying to make a buck off of, someone else's back. And I think that's a good thing. Like we've seen, even people who were not successful, they at least felt that it was fair. They felt that they had a chance. And it's because they did. And really, I think we're going to continue exploring our options. If this next one doesn't go perfectly, or if there's something to be learned, we're going to adapt. We're going to change till we are happy with it. And if the raffle, for whatever reason, isn't going to be our long-term solution, if something else better comes along, we're all ears. So if anyone has any ideas, reach out to me. I'm definitely interested in anything we can do. But really, at the end of the day, I think it's because we're a label and a company that cares for our customers, and we care for our artists, and we want to be around for a while. And we are definitely just looking to be on the right side of things.
Absolutely. And I would like to say that I want to remain accessible as well. As a manufacturer and a small record label owner too. And I don't do anywhere near like the amount of releases that you do at SlyVinyl, or like at Wax Vessel, or like Cadabra, or like the other record labels that I have the honor of working for. But I also want to, follow suit and be supportive of like what you guys are trying to do.
That's encouraging. Yeah, it's great to hear, man.
Well, you do such a great job, even like helping us cross promote. Anytime you repost something on Instagram, for example, it increases the engagement every single time. And you get new followers and new people who are, what's great about doing these collaborations with you and the label and an artist is that we're bringing those three kind of fan bases together. We've got people who, I don't care what label it's on, I don't care what artist it is, but look at that Wax Mage record, I need to get that, I'm going to eat it up. And then you get people finding out about new music, and it's just a win-win-win situation.
Yeah, the whole way around. Yeah. I always want to be supportive. Like, I can't do what I do without y'all. That's facts.
And we try to, make sure everyone knows it's Wax Mage. Wax Mage are the ones, we get a lot of props for, you look at these records you guys are putting out. It's like, hey, I just order them.
Yeah.
Wax Mage is the ones doing the magic, so to speak.
I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you very much.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Heath, David. I think it's been an enlightening conversation. I think a lot of people are going to be interested in hearing what we actually think about all of this going on, because I understand from the customer's standpoint, it can be frustrating. And I hope that there's some sort of solace that we are looking for solutions. We're listening to you, and we're trying to make it as fair as possible. So at the end of the day, we hope that you've got that Wax Mage in your own collection, so that you can, if you're going to be flipping a Wax Mage, we hope it's only to side B. Let's put it that way.
Just make sure it's for your car payment.
Yeah. And remember to keep this friggin' hobby fun, people. All right?
Hell yeah.
Well, until next time, listeners, this has been Eric Hughes, and you've been listening to SlyVinyl Radio.